Wrapping up hour number 1 here. I teased that LSU just nabbed a transfer portal commitment. I told you at the top of the show, I would expect 3 or 4 of these in the next 5 to 6 days. LSU is going to get some visitors on campus this weekend. That generally results in commitments. When players visit Tennessee, Arkansas, LSU, Texas, and Texas A&M, generally, more often than not, they commit because those are pretty impressive places. They've got great NIL programs in place, and they've got championships to their name in the sense of Tennessee and LSU. And these are the most aggressive transfer portal teams in the country. So I think those visits are going to result in commitments. I don't know if this commitment visited this week. I know he's been to the box because he pitched in the box. I've teased this enough. It's the left-handed pitcher that LSU has nabbed out of the transfer portal is North Dakota State left-hander Danny Lachenmayer. I learned about Danny Lachenmayer 13 minutes ago, so I don't know what he looks like, what his stuff profiles as. I never heard of him outside of when he pitched against LSU, and I quickly forgot about that, obviously, because it was back in February. But I can look at his stat sheet, and I can give you some objective metrics. Lockenmier is left-handed, which is good. He is 6'3", 195 pounds, which is good. And he just finished his freshman year, which is also good. You're looking at a guy that had big strikeout numbers at North Dakota State, 56 strikeouts in 38 innings of work. When he pitched against LSU in a midweek relief outing, he threw 1 2/3 innings against the Tigers, gave up 1 hit and 2 earned runs. He struck out 3 in that inning and 2/3, so he got 5 outs. 3 of them were strikeouts, had 1 walk, did not allow an extra base hit. So I'll have to go back and look at the box score and see how he allowed so much. I mean, both the guys he allowed to reach base scored, so that was a hit and a walk. Both guys scored, but he struck out 3, which is good. What I really liked as far as the numbers go, and again, I don't know if he throws sidearm, if he throws 100. I don't know anything about his profile as a pitcher. I can just look at the numbers because this is brand new. But I can tell you that in his last 7 outings, am I counting that right? Yeah, final 7 outings, totaled 13 2/3 innings, and he did not allow an earned run over those 7 outings. It was 13 2/3 innings. Let's see how many strikeouts were in those 13 2/3 for Lockenmier, because that's a huge number. You're talking about 10, 13, 14, 15, 17 strikeouts. So it's clearly he's got pretty big stuff. I realize that striking out Oral Roberts, St. Thomas, and Omaha, and Kansas and Creighton. So they were in the Arkansas regional because, North Dakota State was. So he pitched against Kansas and Creighton in the regional. In the regional against those 2 teams, he threw 3 1/3 innings, no earned runs, 4 hits, and 10 strikeouts in those 2 outings. So big stuff, apparently, from this guy. I like adding a left-hander. If you look at next year's roster that is returning, DJ Primo can come back from the left side. I anticipate that he will. Connor Ware can come back from the left side. I don't think he will, but that remains to be seen. So you need left-handed pitching, and this guy has been a reliever. As I look through his outings, you see the longest outing he had this year was 3 1/3 against Oral Roberts, and that was when he struck out 7. So this is a guy who's been a reliever but has good size, big strikeout numbers. Jay Johnson has seen him, and this is something we've seen Jay Johnson do. He went and got Zach Cowan last year after he scouted him hard for the regional, and that obviously paid off in a big way this year. We've seen him go get guys that LSU played against and bring them in. I'm trying to think if there's another hitter that comes to mind immediately. Again, this is not a segment I've prepped. This is something that just fell in my lap, so I'm trying to consider. I mean, obviously, LSU saw Luke Holman on tape as he came from Alabama. He famously didn't pitch against LSU, got scratched in that game, but coach got fired. But he scouted Luke Holman before then and certainly brought him in. Chris Stanfield is a guy that LSU played against, that LSU brought in and liked what he could give them. So this is another instance that I'm confident that Jay Johnson saw him in scouting, saw him in the game against LSU, and when that happened, they immediately knew what they were looking at. You can go pull the tape pretty quickly from a home game, and that's a guy who you don't necessarily have to get to campus for a visit because he was here and played in the stadium when LSU, I'm sure, had a pretty nice crowd in a February game. And you realize that he's from Minnesota, played baseball at North Dakota State. Weather is okay down here in February to come down and play a little bit of baseball. So that's a guy that you probably don't have to work too hard. He's already seen it. Probably a guy that's a little bit under the radar. I mean, Tommy White goes in the portal. Thatcher Hurd goes in the portal. Luke Holman goes in the portal. Like, everybody's going. I would imagine Danny Lachenmayer going in the portal is not going to send off alarms in Tony Vitello's office or Jim Schlossnagle's office. Just a guess. Maybe it does. I'm not there, but I would imagine that's not the case. But LSU would have seen it and gone, oh, yeah, remember that kid, and then you go make a push. So, again, I expect LSU to be selectively aggressive over the next week and a half in adding guys to this roster. I expect that they'll add some really good talent, and you got to have left-handed pitching. Jay Johnson said he learned that from Augie Garrido, that he said, I'm going to build my teams around left-handed pitching and left-handed hitting because most teams don't have it. I can find a right-handed pitcher or a right-handed hitter just about anywhere. Most teams don't have lefties. And if you're LSU, you're lacking in lefties, and you need to go grab one, and Danny Lachenmayer becomes that first guy in the boat as a left-handed pitcher. LSU brought in 2 infielders last week and 2 weeks ago in the transfer portal, but as far as pitching goes, this is the first edition. I just kind of work off of the assumption that LSU is going to find a weekend starter in the transfer portal. I'm not saying it's going to have to be Skeens, but they're going to find Ianson or Holman or Hurd or Jump or one of those guys that's going to come in and help. I don't know if this profiles as that. It looks like he was a reliever on North Dakota State team. Maybe they think he's a really good left-handed reliever here, but that's the beauty of summer ball and then into the fall. You can kind of get a sense of what guys can be, and I do know that Lockenmier did extend a little bit later in his outings. A lot of one-inning outings early in the season, a couple of that were 3 innings in the end of the season. So I like the numbers on this. I'll have to go look at the video on it and see if I have a different thought. But for me, this is a pretty good ad based on the numbers that I'm getting 10 minutes after this commitment goes public. So Danny Lachenmayer is headed to LSU, left-handed pitcher from North Dakota State. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.